Welcome to the latest installment of our Phi Theta Kappa International Officer and Officer Candidate interviews. We are joined this afternoon by Mariah Mayhugh, and we are very grateful that you've taken the opportunity to join us. You have a little bit of a time constraint since you've been elected as an international officer, and so we'll get right into just the basic intro of yourself to our audience.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me. My name is Mariah Mayhugh. I was recently elected to Division 4 Vice President for Phi Theta Kappa. I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I'm a part of the Alpha Gamma Alpha chapter.
And so to delve into the most important stuff that I wanted to get into for long form interview conversation was in general, if we take you back to the beginning when you were starting at your community college, what resonated about Phi Theta Kappa with you, and what made you interested in joining and then also becoming involved with your chapter?
So when I first heard about Phi Theta Kappa, I didn't know if I was going to be able to participate because of the international fee that comes with it. So when I got the email, I didn't know if I was going to be able to participate, but my advisor did send out a secondary email that explained about the Golden Opportunity Scholarship. So I got to apply for that, and I actually did receive it. So I'm a Golden Opportunity Scholar recipient, which allowed me to take part in Phi Theta Kappa. A couple months went by, and my chapter wasn't super active at the time. I didn't really see them around campus. I didn't know what activities they were doing. But I was putting on a 26-day campaign in my community for epilepsy awareness in March 2019. So I quickly realized I needed help because it was a big undertaking for just a single individual to do. So I reached out to Phi Theta Kappa and I told them what I was doing and asked if they could help me. And from there, I was able to attend meetings. They were able to help with the campaign, and I was hooked from there on out. I got to go to Catalyst, I got to become an officer, and I learned about this huge extended family.
And I didn't do the prerequisite intros of the two of us who you're generously talking with this afternoon. My name is Paul Flumen. I'm from Highland Community College, Wamego in Kansas. And Katty Vasquez is from Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and she previously served as a regional officer for the Kansas region a few years ago. And so we're both with the Alumni chapter here at Washburn University, and we're on a mission to try to deliver to alumni who we serve access to the most prominent current membership of Phi Theta Kappa, and that's what this came about. So we very much appreciate that. I think the number one question I wanted to get to after that, before I toss things over to Katty to see if she had anything, was the how, and I think you kind of mentioned it, but what was the event, or was there a particular event where you developed the hunger to campaign for international office?
So the event that made me want to campaign for international office is definitely Catalyst 2019. When I attended Catalyst 2019, I, for the first time, realized that I didn't have to wait to start to change the world. And that was a really powerful moment for me. I was able to connect with the candidates that were running in 2019, particularly Jenna Santacroce and James Elliott. And I could see the work they were doing in their communities for causes they were passionate about. And it was really powerful because I saw in myself that I had that same passion and that I wanted to use that to help change the world and to help serve PTK. And so it was from there on out that I had decided that I wanted to also run for international office.
And so, Katty, did you have anything before I jump into the platform and the stuff that was her campaign priorities?
No, actually, you summarized it with, saying how you saw that, how you related what you felt inside to those that were running and, ultimately made it up there like you have now.
Thank you.
So what was, sort of merge these two into one answer in terms of what was your campaign platform, what was your priorities as a candidate, and what do you think are the most important priorities for Phi Theta Kappa as a whole in the immediate term?
So for my campaign, I ran on the campaign slogan, "Celebrate your unique mind." For viewers that are watching that did not follow my campaign, I grew up with 2 different types of childhood epilepsy, and I'm an epilepsy advocate. I'm a firm believer in advocating for neurodiverse rights, whether that's epilepsy, autism, Down syndrome, synesthesia, dyslexia. There's all sorts of ways that we all have a very unique mind. And I think that in society, we sometimes try and suppress that, and we try and convince people that they need to hide that in order to blend in to be neurotypical. But I want people to realize that having a different mind is something to be celebrated. It's not something to be ashamed of. And so that was kind of what I ran on, is the fact that I was told that I might not succeed in school, and I was told that I need to, like, keep my epilepsy secret, stuff like that. And about 2 years ago, it was at my community college when I wrote a research paper about childhood epilepsy. And I realized how many kids across the country feel that exact same way. They're embarrassed, ashamed, they try and hide it, and it leads to higher rates of mental illness. I want to try and change that. I want those kids to realize they can go to college, and epilepsy does not mean that they can't be scholars or leaders or both. So I'm really proud to be representing the neurodiverse community as an international officer.
So I would delve into just briefly. I have other things that are more important, so I'll leave this one mostly to the written portion. But what was a typical day like for you during the campaign, and with the added complication of the digital conversion?
So as I'm sure many of you know, we were definitely not expecting a virtual catalyst. I know I wasn't, and we kind of had to make some fast adjustments. So a typical day for me is, during the campaign at least, was, especially towards the end, I tried to do one Facebook Live or one video a day. I ran a 10-day series for the final 10 days called Mornings with Mariah, which was a video series where I covered different topics such as overcoming public speaking fears, what is epilepsy, going from 0 to 5 stars in 1 year, competitive edge, stuff like that. And they were short videos. They were typically only about 3 minutes long. So a typical day would involve shooting one of those videos, editing it, and preparing it to upload the next day. I also like to post another campaign-related post throughout the day, usually around the middle of the day, so it would get the most traction, that would highlight something else about my campaign. One of my favorite posts was the faces of the neurodiverse community, where I pulled people that are currently very popular, such as celebrities, like Greta Thunberg, Emma Watson, Cameron Boyce, or people from the past, such as Harriet Tubman or Abraham Lincoln, that had just neurodiversities, like epilepsy, ADHD, autism, and I put it into one post to highlight how amazing these people were in spite of their neurodiversities.
I started talking after I was muted again. My apologies for that. So what will your responsibilities be as Vice President for Division 4 moving forward?
So because of COVID-19, we aren't exactly clear exactly how this year is going to play out. We're still in a little bit of a waiting game right now, but right now we are, as international officers, and what I'm particularly doing is trying to attend as many different regional end of the year ceremonies, inductions, and the like via Zoom. Over the summer, there probably won't be any regional conferences. So what we're planning to do is, over the summer is we want to try and attend even like chapter meetings to encourage visibility of the international officers. As we get into fall, should things return to normal, we will be representing the division, or I will be representing my division in person, and I will be going to regional conventions in person.
So then, to take a step back, since obviously this last month and this last semester, without the mitigating circumstances that we've mentioned, have doubtlessly been a whirlwind for you to endure. What would you say was, outside of actually becoming elected, out of this entire process, what was the most rewarding thing? What was the most valuable thing that you will be able to take moving forward with your academic and professional career?
I think the most powerful thing moving forward is the confidence that I gained in sharing my story virtually. I was not used to that format. I'm not a big social media person in general. So being able to share my story like on social media and being able to connect with people via Zoom is a valuable skill that I was able to learn and utilize because I hadn't really ever done that before. And so using that and getting to connect with people around the country has been really amazing. And I think I have met some people that I never really would have connected with otherwise if it wasn't for this new format that we had to do Catalyst in.
Katie, did you have anything at the moment?
No, go ahead and continue.
I muted myself again. Sorry about that. I think sort of what we try to ask everybody, aside from the, you know, the who, what, where type questions, is what would you say is a trait that, in the big picture, from your time at your community college through your involvement with Phi Theta Kappa, that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you look back retrospectively at your educational experience, what would be the one character trait that you would strive for your peers and people that you had a chance to be around to say about you that you possessed and demonstrated during your educational career?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say I would want them to remember that I would want them to, let me think about that for a second. I think I would most want them to remember that I was unapologetically myself. I'm an open book. I don't pretend to be someone I'm not. I want them to know every piece of myself. I want them to know the hardships that I have endured the past 12 years with epilepsy. I want them to know that I'm not perfect by any means. I want them to know that I'm kind and I'm humble. I want them to know that I am just me, and the me you see on the screen is the me you'll see on stage, is the me you'll see in person. I'm always me. I'm never putting on a face.
That's very, very admirable. Very, and it does come off, and you can definitely see that. Was there a particular person or people through involvement with your chapter, through the process of your education at your community college, and through your campaign, was there any particular people who, not necessarily, I don't want to say serve as a role model for you, but people who had a profound positive impact in taking you the direction that you've gone in now as an international officer of PTK?
I think I already mentioned two of them. Jenna Santa Croce and James Elliott were definitely two big inspirations for me. Just Jenna's passion for helping the environment was very touching to me because I could see the passion from her the moment I met her. And I want to emulate that. And I want people to be able to see the passion of spreading neurodiversity awareness in me when they meet me. So that was very inspiring. And then James's story was very similar to my own. He was in prison, and there is a certain stigma with ex-felons when they come out of prison, but he overcame that and became international president. Same with me. I was an epilepsy patient, and there is a heavy stigma that relates to all of us, but I overcame that and I became international vice president. So they are very much two huge role models for me, and they played a key part in me getting where I am now.
If we were to take a step back to just your community college as a whole, everyone believes that their chapter is unique because every chapter is unique for sure. And you talked about how you started to get involved with your chapter. But what do you think about your particular college sets it apart in terms of making it conducive for your chapter and for you as a student to achieve what both of you have achieved?
I absolutely love Pikes Peak Community College. So I'm actually dual enrolled. I'm at a local university here in our state as well as Pikes Peak Community College. And while I love my university, Pikes Peak Community College is definitely my home. There is just a sense of community that you can tell no matter what semester you're in or what class you're taking. Everyone strives to be cohesive there. Our college president, Dr. Lance Bolton, is also amazing in supporting Phi Theta Kappa and our chapter, Alpha Gamma Alpha. He was willing to fund 2 IO campaigns this year for Catalyst because it was not just me running. Our chapter president, Andre Guy, was running for international president. So he was willing to fund both of us to go to Catalyst and to have all the supplies for our campaign. Obviously, we didn't wind up using using that many because we switched to an online format. But prior to all of this, he was just totally on board to support both of us, and it has been amazing to have his support in our Honors in Action project, our college project, and most recently our international campaigns.
So with that, moving forward, what can you tell me about the pride of representing your college to the community?
So I'm very proud of the fact that I am the first woman from our college to become an international officer, and the second person ever. We haven't had an international officer in over 10 years. So I am really proud to be representing Pikes Peak Community College and Colorado in general as an IO. And I want to show people just how amazing it is to start at a community college and to break down kind of that barrier of, hey, community college isn't really that good of a place to start, because I think a lot of people, especially high school seniors, they think that they have to go to university right out of high school if they want to go to college. And I want to show them that that's not always, you don't always have to start that way, and that community college can open so many doors for you.
And it dovetails with your passion and with what you ran on as with a campaign platform, particularly with the advocacy for education for people with epilepsy and other such factors that would, need
Exactly.
potentially, you see what I'm saying? That would potentially be an impediment
absolutely.
to them to
It's
overcome
very
those
much
obstacles.
breaking down the stigma. I think that that's really important. We need to always have an open mind, and that goes back to my campaign slogan, which is celebrate your unique mind. Because even if you are neurotypical, we all have unique minds. We all have unique experiences that make us who we are, and I think that is really important and really powerful.
And it's very admirable, I might add, that you have not just the passion of representing and standing up for the neurodiversity, as you mentioned, that's the word I was trying to come up with, but also offering people who have that as a factor in their lives your own experience at the community college level, and pointing out this is an atmosphere that we are striving to make neurodiverse, and that you have the opportunity to have a great experience and to learn and have a career and have a life that you are proud of, starting at this point. So for me, from my perspective, if I could just talk about myself for a second, and it seems puny compared to what your experiences have been, but I went to a college that was in a very rural area, and in those areas, you think that there's not a lot of opportunity for trouble, but there's also not a lot of opportunity, period. And there's a lot of temptations for youth to get into the wrong things in their lives. And what my college was offering was people a chance to do something with their lives and escape that culture that was dragging youth in the wrong direction. And that's why representing your college as a member of Phi Theta Kappa is important, because it's promoting the college to the community at large. People who may not have even been aware of your college as an educational opportunity might hear about a project that Phi Theta Kappa members are doing, or a recognition that Phi Theta Kappa members like yourself would earn, and that might even alert them of the educational opportunity in and of itself. That's why representation matters, and that's why so many of us have the passion that you've lived out to. Certainly its fulfillment, without doubt. I would like to, as I see we're getting at about 7 minutes here, I would like to sort of pivot. You said that you were concurrently enrolled at your university as well. What are your transfer plans and degree plans and professional goals, if you've set that yet?
So yeah, I'm dually enrolled at a university here in Colorado Springs, and I'm majoring in interdisciplinary studies. So I've combined a bunch of different majors: communications, child development, psychology, sociology, and health sciences, to create kind of DIY my own major, for lack of better words. My goals as a career is to continue on with my advocacy work. I have published a children's book on epilepsy, and I am working on a second book to hopefully be released in the coming 6 months-ish timeframe. I adore public speaking. I adore just being able to share my story and be a light and a hope for children and students with epilepsy. That is really my goal. I would love to open my own nonprofit someday. That would be just kind of my absolute dream, is to just be able to outreach more to students and children across the country, and hopefully someday globally, to let them know that epilepsy doesn't define them and that they can reach whatever goals and whatever educational goals, leadership goals, careers they want to go into.
And and your advocacy particularly resonates with us, because we had one of our past president, Kaya Neslick. If you read our literature, you'll see a lot about her. She was one of those Phi Theta Kappa members who gets inducted right before her associate degree, and then she sees the scholarship she gets at the transfer level and says, "Holy cow, I'm going to learn this." And that's why a lot of our alumni members make the most of their membership in Phi Theta Kappa as alumni, and that's sort of
Yeah.
a passion of mine. But what a lot of people don't know about her is that she is deaf. She's had a cochlear implant since she was 2 years of age, and
Mm-hmm.
she had a similar passion of not letting anything like that define your life or impede your education. And this was a
Yep.
person who got a lot of opportunities through her incredible athletic career. But when that athletic career dried up, when she tore her ACL and she retired, she came to Washburn when she was going to be playing Division I volleyball at some big university someplace. She came to Washburn, little Washburn here, and she just was unstoppable as a force for us as an organization, getting the word out there and also representing the community college well at the four-year university level. So it matters. And what I would also pivot into with that statement is a request from your perspective, as you undertake that advocacy as your life, really, and you want to dedicate your life to the advocacy that you've undertaken.
I do.
Don't undervalue, and please remember Phi Theta Kappa as a means for you to continue to promote those endeavors, because
Yeah.
we are all about the alumni, and we are the university-based alumni chapter. So it's the hardest type of alumni chapter to form. I certainly would beseech you, keep Phi Theta Kappa current membership in mind, and keep the support of Phi Theta Kappa in mind, because through your continued support as an alum, once you are finished at the community college, you will have the opportunity to raise an incredible amount of awareness for your work and for your life's work and your cause, with the current members who are very zealous and very hungry to find causes like that to lend their support to. So I would say that in many ways, if you're interested in emulating what we've done as an alumni chapter at a university, when you complete your career at Pikes Peak, don't undervalue that as a way to give your message an increased audience of people that will immediately identify with the message that you're delivering, because they know your experience and your accomplishments through Phi Theta Kappa.
Thank you. That's awesome. I am so excited. Phi Theta Kappa has given me so much. It gave me really the courage to kind of start my advocacy work. So I think I'll always be involved in PTK in some way.
And then as to sort of wrap it up, what message in general would you have to Phi Theta Kappa as a whole, as obviously it's a labor of love for you, but do you have any particular message for our viewers who are probably mostly alumni? So anyway, any message to members in general, and any message to alumni particularly?
My message would be, never let something hard in life stop you from reaching your goals. And I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it's the hardest times in your life that you're going to grow the most. And I just want to emphasize that is, you can turn any difficult situation into something beautiful. You can turn any hard time into something worth sharing and helping other people. So you may view yourself as a victim. You may view yourself as, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me. But try and change your mindset. Try and realize, yeah, this is hard right now, but how can I use this to help someone else going through the same thing? Or how can I use this as an experience to grow?
And on that note, just making sure, Katie, did you have anything else to throw in at this point? Because I think then we're just going to have closing statements.
Yeah, just, you know what, you've definitely got a goal. You know what you want to do. You know, just keep moving forward. Definitely don't let anything stop you. You know where you're going. You know, maybe the step right in front of you, you don't know how to take it, but you know what, you've got a way, you've got the means, you've got the connections, you know, and you're gonna, again, cliche, but you're gonna grow so much as an international officer. And I mean, at the end of this, you'll be a completely different person with a whole new set of skills that I know you'll be able to use and accomplish towards your advocacy work.
Thank you.
And so on behalf of both of us, we want to thank you for representing Phi Theta Kappa so well, with such genuity, and with such passion, and in a professional and classy manner, as all of you international officer candidates did this year. We really want to compliment you all on that. And we especially ask, if you are looking for alumni resources, we are a place to start. You will tap into a lot of fellow alumni as you move on, and that's our paid commercial for this interview, in terms of trying to promote the alumni engagement as well. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak with you. I don't know if I sent you the written portion yet, but I will if I haven't, and then we can delve into some of the who, what, and where of your actual campaign that time didn't permit us to get to today.
That sounds amazing. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you and talking with you.
It was a pleasure.
All right. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.